Good morning, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic here on Mike Avery Outdoors. My name is Mike Avery. I'm here on my Facebook page, my YouTube channel, and Twitter as well. I was going to go on Instagram this morning, and I was going to have to use my phone to do it, and then realized that I was missing a setting. There's a little widget that I have to add to allow me to flip the camera back this way to mirror it, and I couldn't find it. Comments, there we go. Good morning, Cliff. Always a pleasure to have you along with us, buddy. Adam, good morning. Matt, nice to have you with us as well on this edition of Behind the Mic. On kind of a nice morning, a little bit warmer. John, always a pleasure. John, I feel like I got a good buzzer in me tonight, buddy. Mike, hey, Mike, try out those rec broadheads, REK, recbroadheads.com or rec.com. As I say, I've only killed a bear with them. But the performance was outstanding. Happy hump day, Mike. Happy hump day. Have I got the boat out yet? No, the boat hasn't been built yet, Matt. Hasn't been built yet. Jason checking in from the Ford Dearborn Truck Plant. Jason, always a pleasure to have you along with us. I do certainly appreciate it. You like the new intro to the show? Thank you. It includes Brenton USA. BrentonUSA.com. Cheers from Northern Michigan, Lauren says. Good morning, Brian. Nice to have you with us. My name is Mike Avery, and this is my weekly live look behind the scenes. Davina, how are you? Hey, Davina, it's been a pleasure that you've been along with us the last couple of weeks. I appreciate it. Enjoy your input. Mad Jack, good morning, buddy. How are you? This is something I do from the Outdoor Magazine radio studio every week. Got your longbeard picked out yet? No, not the specific bird, Brian, but I was driving around last night, and it comes out of storage on the 15th. Nancy, Bob, good morning. How are you? They say it'll be done by May. Hey, whenever it's done, that's when I'll use it. It'll be fine. I got turkey season coming up. Also going to make a family trip down to Florida. Can you believe it? On the opening day of turkey season? That was not very good planning on my part, was it? Jerry, good morning. Ed, good morning. Randy, good morning. Yeah, that's we made some plans. Well, we didn't. It's a family wedding, so I didn't set the date, obviously, because I never would have set the date on April 23rd. Because that's the opening day of my turkey season. But that's all right. It's a 6-week season. I think I'll be okay. Bruce says, Mike, what day is it? It's hump day. I know. It was not a good move, and it was not my move. I know Vince says, are you nuts? Well, believe me, once I realized what was going on, I went into a deep funk, a real depression. The good news is my season is 6 weeks long, but it is going to absolutely break my heart, hopefully not my spirit, to be sitting in an airport on the opening day of Michigan's turkey season. What are you going to do? It is what it is. Bernie says, lots of nice walleye pictures lately. Yeah. Do a little hog hunt. Well, better than Disney. Buy a Florida tag. I think, Mark, while we're down there, I think it's going to be a quick few days and then back. So I can get back home and do some turkey hunting. And everything else that needs to be done. Pelicans over longbeards. Ugh, I hear you. But it is what it is. Going to call your new tune Hump Day. Tony, how are you, buddy? You're going to be out there long before I am. In fact, you've already been out there, haven't you? Still icy Pratt Lake in Gladwin. Jim, and Jim, by the way, congrats again on passing your captain's test. Get that paperwork in so you can be an official officially licensed charter captain. Good morning, Ron St. Louis of Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters, White River, Ontario, Canada. Ron, do you have any openings yet? Should I send people your direction, or are you booked up? Hello, Andrew. How are you? Ron St. Louis of Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters, a great guy. I've become a good friend of mine over the last several years. I've hunted up there in White River for more than a dozen years now. In fact, I will take some credit for promoting that area so hard that it's become a very big destination. When I went up there weren't that many people going up there from Michigan. Now look at it. Physical coming next week. Excellent, Jim. And then, Jim, you can be part of the random drug test program. Now, I know that's not a concern for you as it was for me. It's not for me either. I don't worry about it. But, man, I had 3 drug tests the first year as a licensed captain. Again, not that I was worried. It was just a hassle. Good morning, Dan. But it's one of those things that's got to be, right? And it makes sense. Water's too dirty. Tony says the water's too dirty, but I'm ready. Okay, Tony, let me ask you this. Remember last spring when the skinny water was crystal clear? Ron says, I will check my bookings, Mike, and get back to you. Please do, Ron, because if you got openings, I'll send people up there. Tony, remember last spring when the water was crystal clear and it was very, very hard to take a fish in that crystal clear 7 to 10 feet of water? I'm glad to hear that it's dirty right now. And I will be fishing vicariously through you, my friend, until I can get out there, because it's going to be, honestly, realistically, it's going to be a month before I get out there, I think. Oh, Pat Johnson just walked in the studio. Barbara, where is Pierre Part? Is that Canada? Nate checking in from Akiak. Let me tell you who's on this week's show, because, again, we're doing some time shifting, so I guess see. This week's show, Jason Graham of Linwood Beach Marina talking about early Saginaw Bay trolling and getting your boat out of storage. Tom Andrus of the Great Lakes Salmon Initiative talking about the outlook for salmon season in the Great Lakes this year. We also talked about our quest to eliminate or at least reduce restrictions on the number of rods a Great Lakes trolling angler can use. Charlie Wilsey of Primal Tree Stands talking about bow hunting for turkeys. That's a real love of mine. Nick Green of MUCC checks in. And then Greg Abbas, the turkey whisperer, on talking to turkeys. And, of course, we wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dave Miner. It's in Louisiana. Or, Barbara, should I say Louisiana? Cliff says he got a CDL and have had 3 times in the last 5 months. Jeff says dirty water is good. Really dirty water, not so much. I agree with you, Jeff. Dirty water, good. Chocolate milk, bad. Happy medium. Mad Jack, boat's pretty thick between State Park and Linwood. Skinny water past few days. Makes me mad, Jack. Makes me mad, Jack, when people go into my skinny water. Don't they know that that's my water? Janet, how are things in Colorado this morning? I made a trip. It was a quick trip. It was an up and back in one day. Last Friday, I went up to Escanaba, the Riviera of the North. Hey, Joe, how are you? Always a pleasure, my friend. Johnny Bowler, the Bear Whisperer. Johnny, good friend of mine. You might have seen the pictures of me and Johnny. We look like twins. When we stand side by side, it's hard to tell who's which. Jason checking in from the Ira Township Fire Department. Anyway, I did go to Escanaba, where I saw Johnny, his brother Dave. I was there for a PR event for the Radio Results Network at a Sport Rec and RV show. So I drove up that day, did a 2-hour personal appearance, and drove back. So I smoked a few cigars and I listened to some audiobooks. But I was surprised when I got up to Escanaba that there was still ice on the bay, and this is last Friday. There were still some shanties out there. Now, I'm not going to second-guess the locals, but it did seem like they were pushing their luck. Good morning, Raber Bay. How are you? How are the conditions in your neck of the woods, Raber Bay? Is it still wintertime, or is it starting to feel like spring? Spring is so late this year. Spring is what? Got to be 3 weeks late this year? I did see a positive sign. Not yesterday. Monday morning while I was walking, my early morning walk, I saw some night crawlers. Now, Tuesday morning when I walked, if those night crawlers would have shown themselves, they would have been frozen solid, but I saw them Monday morning. Jim checking in from Algonac. How are things there, buddy? Hey, Jim, I've also heard the Detroit River walleye fishery is off to a slow start, too. Again, it's a late spring. Raber Bay says 2 feet of ice and snow covered. So springtime's late coming there, too, huh? Hunter Joe says you should have went fishing while you're up there. Hunter Joe, I didn't have time to do anything while I was up there. John said you fish on Sunday. Friend and I was at spring 2 weeks behind. I would go with 2, maybe even 3. But 3, by the way, John. John drove down to Escanaba just to see me and drove back home. On the way there, he may have saved somebody's life, and that's no exaggeration, is it, Johnny? Curtis, still 2 feet of snow in Newberry. Ed says still ice on Hubbard. See, it's late. Matt enjoying his new Michigan-made Stealthcraft Hooligan XL drift boat here in Ohio River, smashing steelhead on spawn sacks. Excellent. Raber Bay says normally ice until mid-April. I tell you what, you guys in the UP are tough. You're tougher than I am. I could not do it. About this time of year, I start to get depressed down here. To live up there with you guys, you're tough. Upers are tough. And they like beer. Oh, while I was going up there, I stopped by, since I drove right by the plant, I stopped by the Rapid River plant, the Rapid River knife plant in Rapid River, just outside Rapid River. And I had Johnny says, people helping people. Well, you're one of those guys, Johnny. Sucker's running an Omer now. Going to get better. John says outlook temps for outlooks are looking better. Outlook for temps are looking better. I stopped by the Rapid River plant, and I had him touch this baby up. And man, did they touch it up. They tweaked the edge, and they buffed out some scratches and stuff that I had on here. Looks like a new knife, but the edge that they put on this blade is ridiculous. Honestly, you could shave with this thing. Although I think I've used it enough now, I probably dulled it a little bit. But I learned a trick from those guys, from Chris Durston at Rapid River. Don't get out the whetstone. Unless you've really screwed up the edge on your knife, don't get out a whetstone unless you're an expert, and there are very few people who truly are experts with a whetstone. Get out a leather strap, even an old belt, and do what they call stropping a knife. My granddad and my dad used to do this, but I never really took advantage of it until a conversation with Chris Durston a couple of weeks ago. And you take the leather and you don't, it's not like you're pushing into it, trying to cut it. You're dragging away from the edge, and you turn around, you drag it away from the edge, right? Where you drag it away from the edge and then push it away from the edge. You're not trying to cut it. You're dragging away from it. And what that does with leather, surprisingly, it takes those little microscopic burrs that you create when you dull a knife edge. It takes those little microscopic burrs and it smooths them out. It doesn't change the angle of the blade, but it smooths out those burrs. And unless your knife is really screwed up and really dull, I'm finding you can really tweak an edge and put a heck of an edge on a knife just by using a leather strap and stropping your knife. Really pretty amazing. Matthew's got to go to a meeting. All right, have a good day. Chris, that's interesting. Suckers are running. I always have people ask, Avery, are there suckers running? Well, now I know the suckers are running over. Exactly, Vince. It's exactly like barbers do with their razors. In fact, the example Chris Durston gave me, he said, if you were sitting in a barber chair and a guy got out a whetstone instead of a leather strap, stropping his knife, you might be a little bit nervous. Yes, that's exactly what the barbers do. Yeah, thank you, Vince. Sherry, good morning. How are things in Poseyville? So anyway, so I did see some turkey strutting last night. I took a little bit of a drive. I drove around the section of my number one turkey hunting spot. Last year, before the season, all right, Johnny, have a good day. Last year, before the season, there were no birds around. They showed up later on. They showed up towards the end of April and into May. Exactly, Glenn. Nothing worse than a dull knife. Jim canned 15 pounds of suckers last weekend. Yeah, a dull knife might as well be a screwdriver. Hey, Glenn? Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. But I saw a big flock of birds on the opposite side of the woods at the back of the section where I'm hunting. So I know there are birds there. Sherry says it's quiet. We have a trail camera in front of our house, front yard. It's kind of fun to see what wanders through the property and through your yard when you're not there, isn't it? Oh, here's some big news. You know that I am working now with a new Michigan-based rifle manufacturer, Brenton USA, BrentonUSA.com. And they make AR style, extremely accurate MOA, sub MOA hunting rifles. Now they know that their hunting rifles are a little on the expensive side. Scott, you're exactly right. Scott Keatsman, Linwood Taxidermy, LinwoodTaxidermy.com. Dad always used to say you can hurt yourself with a dull knife. You can. I think a dull knife is far more dangerous than a sharp knife. Good morning, Jim. Checking in from Hersey. Now, you will pay for that accuracy of a Brenton USA AR style hunting rifle. And the folks at Brenton know that. So to help ease that pain, they have established a new promo code. If you go to the website, BrentonUSA.com, and use the promo code Avery, they'll give you $100 off on any gun you order. They're building mine right now. In fact, I've been talking to my buddy Paul Phillips. You know Paul Phillips, one of the best extreme long-range shooters in the world. I mean, legitimate. He works with the folks at GSL Suppressors. And I'm going to try to get a suppressor for my 350 Legend to go on that Brenton USA hunting rifle. That should be a sweet, sweet rig. That might actually make me want to gun hunt more than I have in the past. Are you doing the show today, Pat? You are, aren't you? All right, here's a test for Pat Johnston checking my headphones, the microphone. He's checking things on his side. Looks like he's good to go. Scott Keatsman, again, LinwoodTaxidermy.com, LinwoodTaxidermy.com. Again, this is a live look. If you're watching this live at 9:02, it's live. If you're watching it after the fact, it was recorded live. But I will be live again tonight at 7 o'clock for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. Where we will give away another Michigan brand ham for Easter, part of our Ham for the Holidays program. We'll give away one tonight, and we'll give away one next week, and then it'll be Maundy Thursday, Good Friday, and Easter. But I would encourage you to join me tonight. We have a lot of fun. I'm playing with a new concept on Wednesday Night Live where I'm actually able to, Pat, I found out a way on StreamYard to add background music. Really? Theme music. So I can take my theme. Yep. Now they have background music provided in the app or in the platform. Right. But if you do a workaround and add another platform or app, you can bring in your own music and add that. It's pretty cool. So I can take my theme. I saw their music on there. Okay. And so I reached out to their tech support and said, "Can I bring in my own files?" They told me how. So I can use my theme music on Wednesday Night Live now. Oh, cool. It is pretty cool. Good. Yeah. Hey, Daryl, good morning. Daryl, who has turned into the wolf hunting master up there in White River, Ontario, Canada. Daryl, I've had so many people reach out to me and say, "Who's your guy in White River?" Well, the wolf season is over now in Canada. I'm going to try to use it tonight, John. You noticed I had some different theme music last night, the background music that they have. I'm going to try to bring my own theme music in tonight. Good morning, Jared. How are you? And Daryl actually says he thinks he's full up for wolf hunters next season. If half of the people who reached out to me, Daryl, and asked for your contact info actually reached out to you, I'm sure you are full. Scott Hand, good morning. How are you? Scott, of course, one of the main guys these days behind Walleye for Warriors these days, walleyesforwarriors.org, walleyesforwarriors.org. If you are a vet and you want to go fishing with us on Saginaw Bay out of Linwood Beach Marina this summer, June 11th and 12th, the fishing is the 12th. Go to this website, walleyesforwarriors.org, and sign up. I am signed up to be a boat captain. I don't know, Scott, do you need any more? I think you probably do need some more captains because you're welcome, Daryl. Good morning, Dan. It's always nice to have some extra people lined up, I'm sure, Scott, because inevitably somebody's not going to show up there. Hey, Bobby Sullivan. Bobby, how are you, boy? And Ben Consitis. Bobby Sullivan, the guy whose client caught the new state record king salmon last summer, is along with us. Bobby, nice to have you with us. I consider it an honor to have you with us, Bobby. Nice to hear from you. How you doing? And Ben, how are you doing as well? Ben from Michigan Whitetail Pursuit. In 1 minute, my friends, I'm going to have to change my focus from interacting directly with you and talking directly to you and trying to answer your questions. Still need 10 boats. Okay. And I'll be recording the first segment of next week's radio show, not this week's, next week's radio show. So if you ask me a question or say something, I will not be able to interact directly with you. I'm not being rude, but join me tonight at 7:00 for another edition of Wednesday Night Live, and we can do that. Okay, walleyesforwarriors.org. They still need 10 more boat captains. You do not have to be a licensed captain to be a boat captain for Walleye for Warriors. So go to the website, walleyesforwarriors.org, sign up to be a boat captain or sign up as a vet as well. 9, 8. It's a wonderful event. It's a lot of fun. I look forward to it every year. 3, 2, 1, blast off. Let's hear it, Pat. Let's bring it loud.
I think, Mike?
Yes?
We're going to call a false start now.
Uh-oh.
I had your mic on, so I think everybody heard you say, blast off.
Oh, well, that was a dumb thing on my part.
I left your mic on.
All right. Hey, we've got another minute to talk here now. Wouldn't that have been fun? Blast off. Hey, here's. See, I told you, folks, it's a live look behind the scenes here, foibles and all. Actually, we've been doing this long enough where I feel like it's a pretty well-oiled machine, Pat, don't you? I mean, overall, when you consider how many hours of programming. Hey, Gene, how are you? 15. Craig. All right, Craig, we'll see you tonight, buddy. Still need 10 boats. Gene out at Apex Marine, where they're going to be making my. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm going to let 14 seconds go before I start my clock. Steelhead fishing the last few weeks, getting ready for open water season. Excellent. Vets may be full today, Scott says. Vets may be full today. All right, I'm going to start mine right about now, Pat, so I'll be within a few seconds. Vets may be full today, but still, boat captains. Walleyesforwarriors.org. It's a fun, rewarding day. It's a day to go fishing, right? Do you need an excuse to go fishing? I don't, but this is a good excuse, and it's a great excuse. I'm doing good, Gene. I'll be doing better when you start my boat. Soon. All right, Mad Jack, you have a good day as well. Great day. Brennan USA Hunting Rifles. Use a promo code Avery. Get $100 off. Now, here's Mike Avery. All right, my friends, have a good day. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine show right here on the Outdoor Magazine Radio Network. More than 30 stations across the great state of Michigan talking about the outdoors here in the great state of Michigan, primarily hunting and fishing and shooting and trapping, and the lifestyle that has evolved and is centered around this way of life that we love so much. This way of life that is, for so many of us here in Michigan, part of our history, part of our tradition. I'm always talking about the history and tradition of the outdoor lifestyle. And when I say that, primarily I'm talking about from a cultural perspective, statewide. Michigan is one of those states that still enjoys and celebrates hunting and fishing and the outdoor lifestyle. There are a growing number of states these days where collectively that's not the case. Fortunately, here in Michigan, that still is the case, and let's pray that that continues for generations to come. But there is also a personal history of the outdoors for many of us, myself included. As I've said before, I never knew my great granddad, but I knew my grandpa pretty well, and he was a hardcore hunter and angler. When I knew him, he was getting up in years, so he wasn't as active as he was in his younger years, but he had such a wealth of information, such a wealth of knowledge. I mean, that guy was a walking encyclopedia for hunting and fishing and the outdoors in general. He would sit out there in front of those big maple trees in the front yard, smoking a cigarette, sitting in his chair, and just look at the sky, feel the wind, and he knew what the weather was going to be like for the next 3 days. He knew whether it was a good day to go hunting. He knew if it was a good day to go fishing. If there was an east wind, he wouldn't even leave the house. But he was absolutely amazing. He passed that information, that knowledge, that expertise along to my dad. Now, I don't think I ever had this conversation with my dad, but I suspect my dad would have said that he didn't know as much as my grandpa did about the outdoors. And I'll tell you for a fact, I don't know much as my dad did. Kind of a shame, right? That knowledge, that expertise, in some cases, in many cases, I bet, becomes diluted as we go through the years. So I do my best to try to learn as much as I can and to pass on as much as I can. And I've never pretended to be an expert. Never. When you are an expert these days, all it does is put a target on your back and people want to tear you down. I'm no expert. But there's nobody who loves this outdoor lifestyle any more than I do. And I've tried to pass that down to my son, James. And he has passed it down to his kids. And we have passed it down to my grandkids. And hopefully it will continue. All right, so think of my granddad, my dad, me, James, the grandkids. There's 5 generations right there that I personally know of. And I'm just one little family in this whole state of people who love the outdoors. It's pretty cool, isn't it? And to be able to sit here at this microphone in this studio every week for 3 hours and celebrate this lifestyle is indeed a blessing. So what else is going on? I don't know about your neck of the woods, but I'll tell you what, where I live and where I have been traveling, springtime is late. How late? I don't know, 2 weeks late, 3 weeks late. It's definitely late. I did see a positive sign the other day, though. I was out doing my early morning walk, and I saw night crawlers and evidence of night crawlers. Now, when I took my walk the next day, and it was cold and snowing, if those night crawlers would have shown up, they would have been frozen in place. But I did see them for a while, and we'll see them again here soon if you're not already seeing them, depending again on where you live in our great state of Michigan. Picking up night crawlers, boy, that takes me back. Does anybody even do that anymore? Or do we just go to the bait shop and buy our crawlers these days? I remember as a kid picking up crawlers and it was an adventure. I had another adventure here recently. I made a trip to the UP. It was a quick trip up and back in the same day. So like 10 hours on the road for a 2-hour personal appearance, but it was worth it. Went to Escanaba at the request of the folks from the Radio Results Network. More than happy to come up. I appreciate the fact that they've cleared my shows, and I enjoyed meeting those folks in person, including Mike Daniels, among others. Had a chance to talk to many of my friends while I was up there. Johnny Bowler, Dave Bowler drove in just to say hi. That was very cool. I enjoyed that. I was shocked that when I was up there, when I left my home in the central part of the Lower Peninsula, there were some signs of springtime. Get up to Escanaba, and at the time there was still ice on the bay. There was still shanties out on the bay, on the water. I did make a stop since I was going right by there. I had to stop by the Rapid River showroom, Rapid River Knife Works, rapidriverknifeworks.us. So when I got there, I reached into my pocket and I pulled out my Rapid River knife and I said, hey, can you guys touch up the edge on this? Because Rapid River knives have a lifetime guarantee, and not just sharpening them, but if you somehow break them, they'll fix it or replace it. But it was amazing to see the folks there and the artists there and the experts there. They took my knife and they just tweaked the edge on it. The angle was good. It didn't need to be, ground into a new angle. They just tweaked it a little bit. They put an edge on that thing you could shave with. And if you're going to have a knife, it might as well be as sharp as you can possibly make it. There's an old saying about a dull knife is actually more dangerous than a sharp knife, and I agree with that. Man, that thing is. I'm sure I'll have it dulled up here in a few days, but I'll learn. I learned from Chris Durson to strap that knife on a leather strap, and that's actually working out pretty well. So what else is coming up? Turkey season now, depending on where you are in our state, coming up just around the corner. I made a little drive, a little preseason scouting trip the other night, just to drive around the section of my number one spot. Last year, just before the season, the birds had disappeared. Don't know where they went. They did show up later in the season. Saw a nice sign the other night. There was a big flock of birds. They were still flocked up pretty good, but a big flock of birds, probably 300 yards on the other side of a woodlot from where I love to set up my blind. I thought, okay, we're off to a good start. Saw birds strutting. That got me going. And then I remembered that I will likely not even be in the state for the opening day of turkey season, my turkey season. That was a strategic error on my part. Well, actually, I didn't have any say in the scheduling. A family event out of state. But I didn't realize we were going to leave on the opening day of turkey season. So that breaks my heart to be sitting in an airport when I know people are hunting birds in Michigan, but I have a long season. So I will be able to take advantage of that. I want to save some money on one of those Brenton USA AR style hunting rifles. A new partner of mine. Very, very pleased to be working with those guys. Michigan-based company out of Lansing. BrentonUSA.com, BrentonUSA.com. If you use the promo code Avery, Avery, you can save $100 on any Brenton USA hunting rifle. These are sub-MOA, sub-minute of angle rifles. That's what sets them apart from a standard AR style home defense or a black gun or a fighting gun or a self-defense gun or whatever. Those guns are made with sloppy tolerances, so they work all the time, but they're not extremely accurate. These Brenton rifles are made with very tight tolerances, and they're made to be hunting rifles. So I'm very excited about that. What else is going on? Oh, this weekend is Easter. Did Easter come early this year? I don't know if it did or not, but it seems early. Hey, listen, I know that it's important for the kids to talk about the Easter bunny and Easter baskets and chocolate eggs and all that stuff. And it's fun. And, the little ones enjoy it. And I get that. But Easter really is so much more than that. In today's world, when so many things are up in the air, when it seems like we're banging our heads against the wall and it seems like the world is going south in a hurry, it's nice to know that there is something bigger out there to help you get through the day, to help you get through life, to help you get through eternity. At least that's the way I feel. And this Easter is the biggest culmination. It's the biggest celebration of that experience. The fact that there is an empty tomb, that Jesus rose, that's why we celebrate Easter. That means that we can have eternity as well, in a good place. So I would ask you, as you celebrate this Easter weekend, to keep that in mind. It's more than chocolate bunnies. It's more than Easter eggs. It's the resurrection. It's an empty tomb. It's a Savior. Amen. We'll take a break here in the Outdoor Magazine Show. When we come back, Dave Mull, the Yak Master, joins me to talk about that. Michael Hensley from Go Great Lakes. Lots more coming up this week right here on Outdoor Magazine. Now, Randy, you weren't paying attention, because if you were, you would have heard me say that the show that I'm recording right now is actually for next weekend, Easter weekend. So I know that this weekend is Palm Sunday, but the show that I just recorded is for Easter weekend. Doing a little time shifting. Only for a couple more weeks. All right, my friends, have a great day. Join me tonight, 7 o'clock, for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. We'll give away another ham for the holidays from our friends at Michigan Brand Meats. The website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. No? But it was his? Okay. I texted him. So anyway, my friends, I got to go. I got to do a show. Have a good day. Tonight, 7 o'clock, Wednesday Night Live.